Hello, beautiful Librans, and welcome to our April 2021 discussion, chat, conversation, reading. This is a really interesting month. It continues to be powerful and potent and forward-moving, and that often means, that we're needing to take rest and reincorporate and recharge at regular intervals through a season of big energy, right? I think sometimes we think about when somebody says, all the planets are direct and it's a forward motion season and you need to get things done, that we just imagine we're going to spend 24 hours a day just doing stuff and making it all happen. And I find that actually when everything is forward like it is this month until the very end of the month when Pluto goes retrograde, that these are actually months where rest in between those moments of punctuated action is more needed than ever. So, and for Librans, this is a really interesting time of year in general. We start off the month obviously in Aries season. The first few weeks of this month are going to be Aries season, which is mirror season, right? This is when a lot of energy is in your opposing sign. Sun, Venus, Mercury are all going to be hanging out in Aries this month until about Taurus season. And this means that it's a time to really look, right? Take a really honest look at your boundaries, at your vulnerability, at how you take care of yourself and therefore how you take care of other people. This is an important month for noticing, do you have healthy boundaries? Are you saying yes to things when you don't mean it at all, or no when you don't mean it and you actually do want to do that thing? Are you letting people in and being vulnerable when it is the right time, or are you kind of playing it off cool? This is a really great time with all of this energy in your 7th house and your opposing sign to evaluate that and just notice where you're maybe like keeping yourself small because you don't want to show your interest in something, or where you're overgiving and possibly, wearing yourself out, and where maybe it's okay to let people in a little bit more. It's going to be those big themes that come up throughout Aries season. Now, as we move through the month, we're moving into Taurus energy at the end of the month. On the 19th, both the Sun and Mercury are moving into Taurus, and Venus will have joined them before that. Like, those 3 planets are moving into Taurus, so we're going to really have a lot of heavy-hitting Taurus energy starting at the end of April, and they will be joining Lilith and Uranus in Taurus as well. So Taurus is suddenly going to be the star of the show, and this is all about transformation for Librans. And Taurus energy is going to be about shedding a skin. It's going to be about leaving behind what no longer serves. It's going to be about letting go. That's why I say this time of year for Librans is kind of intense, because it offers up new perspectives. It offers up like really honest information for yourself, within yourself. I mean, yes, it might come from outside. Like maybe you'll have some really 4 of Cups. That is a popular energy. That sacred rest energy is very, very important, and surrendering a little bit in places where you're feeling rigid. Empress, love it. What was I saying about this season? This is like a really honest time of self-evaluation, and I think it's nice to have those check-ins like every 6 months. So during Libran season, obviously you're going to be thinking about what the last year brought, but then when you have about 6 months in the Aries season, this is a great time to also assess okay, like one half of the year is ended and we are now we're in that kind of equalizing time. So what, King of Wands, so what do I want to adjust? What feels good, what feels authentic, what feels true, and also what feels a little off or a little funky. Ace of Wands. Okay, well, these cards are telling quite a vivid, clear story. Before I get into the cards, I just wanted to acknowledge a couple other things going on with the planets. So like I said, there's all direct motion until the end of the month when Pluto goes retrograde in Capricorn in your 4th house, and we'll talk about that more in the May readings. We also have a new moon in Aries, so in your 7th house, your opposing sign, and a full moon in Scorpio in this in your second house of your value, your self-worth, how you value yourself. So these moons are going to be a conversation around relationships and value, self-value. And so let's look at these cards though, because generally speaking, like I said, April's energy is very forward focused. And while you may be kind of evaluating, where am I? What's working for me? It's not so much in looking over the past, dragging yourself over the coals. It's about being honest with where you want to go and being really honest about the visions you want to bring forward with you. And so that's April's energy. And I'm seeing that here. You know, we do have at the beginning this Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is a powerful card. And a lot of people fight against this when this card shows up. They don't like it. So they don't like this concept of surrender. They do not like this concept of like rest and understanding that there is often a quiet before a big surge of energy. And I'm seeing that here in this reading because you have this figure sitting here in the quiet, nothing's happening, looking at everything that's sitting there, not knowing this cup is coming, and then we've got a lot of forward movement. So I'm seeing that for you. So you may be finding at the beginning of the month that there is a quietness or like a lack of clarity, and you may be feeling like, when am I going to know it's okay? When am I going to know when things are going to happen? And here's the deal, you know, Four of Cups to me often represents it's so important to get that moment to sit and rest, because you got to utilize it before there's a whole bunch of fast motion energy moving and swirling all around you, right? And so this Four of Cups is that pause. It's also just getting into receptive mode, right? Which means it's not about forcing, it's not about doing all the time, it's not about trying to manhandle the process of whatever it is, whatever mystery, whatever answers you're wanting to come to the surface for you. It's not about that push energy. It's about feeling yourself open enough to receive the next step and the next wisdom. So if you're noticing you're feeling a little aggravated, a little tense, a little like you want to push through at the beginning of the month, like just notice those moments and take a breath and reset. And you'll notice that it's a lot less frustrating when you do that. Now, there's some forward motion happening here when I see these energies, because here's the deal. Along with the Four of Cups, there's also the Empress. Now, the Empress is very creative, very full of life and beauty and creativity. So this is great for like abundance. That kind of that word is such an umbrella word, but you know, that sense of like what's really good for you, what's really nourishing for you happening, and also that creative force that moves through us, and like just beautiful things get created, done, accomplished with Empress energy. But here's the trick. Similar to Four of Cups, Empress does not do things by running around really fast and pushing. Empress works by being really relaxed in herself. Very, you know, she's got this very stately presence. And it's, you know, she does take action, she does make things happen, but not in a rush. She's not overdoing it, she's not over pushing it. She has no need to wear herself out with a lot of just busy work, right? Empress is about sitting back and owning our energetic space, owning our energetic handprint, so to speak. You know, it's not about proving yourself via a lot of action. It's about like knowing your worth. So these first two cards are showing me, you know, during this Aries season, this mirror season for Librans, this is a really important time for you to feel your own value, your own worth. And I don't mean that in like some kind of egotistical, cocky way. I just mean that in a very relaxed way, where you're just relaxed with yourself, where you know you're going to be okay, where you feel safe with yourself, and you feel like you are your best advocate, and you feel that worthiness, right? That is so important here. And these are really supportive cards for that type of nurturing and medicine. And it's subtle. I think these energies, the thing with them is they don't yell in your face. They're not going to come in and like swipe a vase off of a table and smash it to make you like notice it. They're going to be really quiet. So when you get this kind of energy, the thing is to notice it. Like when you're pushing, when you're feeling rigid, to notice that medicine is wanting to come in and give you some ease and some grace and some great tools for moving forward. Now, the other part of this month is quite action-oriented. So don't worry, you will still get plenty of movement, plenty of play, because King of Wands and Ace of Wands, these cards are all about taking that like inspired action, is what Abraham Hicks calls it, inspired action, which is those actions that almost just kind of pour out of us, right? Like it's like we get that like idea and suddenly we're making that phone call, we're painting that painting, we're opening that door, we're going on that walk around the corner to pick up that pint of ice cream, whatever. These are very action-based cards and very swift-moving cards as well, getting things done, moving on it. And so I'm noticing that with the King of Wands and Ace of Wands, there's an initiation going on there where you may be starting new projects, new goals, new visions, new connections, maybe new relationships as well. There's a lot of like beginnings, new actions being taken, new routines, new ways of acting and moving through the world. And yes, you may have, some King of Wands energy in your life for sure. This is like a strong fire energy right here. Somebody who's very strong in their self and in their autonomy and in their worldview and in what they want to get done. But I also think whenever these kinds of cards show up, this is about activating that part of yourself that and really accessing that part of yourself that knows you are capable, that knows that you can handle it, that knows that you are in a position that allows you to see and move with clarity and decisiveness. And so when I see King of Wands, Ace of Wands, this is not about waffling around. It's not about self-doubt. It's not about, maybe some other time. These cards are kind of like just get in there and own your space. So we start the month off with this really soft energy that's like relax into knowing you're okay, relax into listening to your soul, relax into getting prepared for a lot of movement. And then the second half of the month, it's like, okay, spotlight's on, go. Go and do the things. Go and initiate the cycles. Go start doing things differently. This is all about new jobs, new opportunities, new workplaces, new living places. This is that kind of energy where it's like if you've been feeling stagnant over the last 6 months, or you've been feeling frustrated, or you've been feeling like, when's this next cycle going to start? You're going to be noticing it here in April, and I'm seeing that really strongly. So exciting energy. And generally speaking, Libra, like these cards are very supportive. Like I said, this energy and the messages I got, this is not a time where it's like, go over your past a million times, relive everything, kind of look over your shoulder the whole month. Oh, no. This whole month is visionary for you. This whole month is about looking forward, exploring, getting a lay of the land, and discovering who you are now. So I'm going to pull a final card from my Animal Totem Tarot. I've been having a lot of animal dreams, and it just felt like the right deck to use. I love this deck, and it just gives a different voice to the reading to kind of close it out and give us a sense of this month. Knight of Cups. Beautiful. Trusting your intuitive wisdom. And I'm going to read the little message that comes with the Knight of Cups, but it takes me ages to find the page. Okay, Knight of Cups, blue-footed booby. I'm going to read you the message that this book gives with it. Okay. Watch my feet and I will dance for you. I want you to understand I am a lover, not a fighter. Don't let my knightly gear fool you. I would rather dance with you than see you come to any harm. Just watch my feet, and I know that sooner or later you will be right here next to me, enjoying the sound of the waves as we get lost in each other's eyes. For the most dangerous quest of all is the one of the heart. And yes, it's true. Knight of Cups is extremely romantic, idealistic, playful, dreamy, all about vulnerability and opening your heart, being vulnerable enough to show how much you care about things. So it's a really interesting message, because when I think about inspired action, when I think about really following your soul's voice pulling you forward. And even in the small details, it doesn't always have to be big dramatic things. That's the most vulnerable place, because we're really showing who we are. We're not just playing a role, and then if that role that we're playing, it doesn't work out, in the end, that's not really us being vulnerable, because we know that like that front, however much maybe like it made us comfortable or maybe we enjoyed that front, it's still a front. It's not our true selves. Everything here is telling me that you've got to show your true self. This is about healing. This is about moving forward. And yes, I'll be honest, you know, these cards are somewhat romantic. These are about deepening relationships. These are about getting vulnerable enough to tell your partner, if you have a partner, what you're really wanting, what you're really needing. If you have somebody that you really like, being open and authentic with them, which is scary, right? It's scary. New levels of vulnerability are scary, even if you've been with a partner for a long time. We think that, you know, you just get it over with one time and then you can move on from vulnerability. Vulnerability shows up time and again in all our relationships and throughout our lives. It never really stops being a place where we can push into new territory. And you're going to have to figure out what that is for you, what your comfort level is with that vulnerability. But most of these cards are speaking to the vulnerability of taking action that really represents who you are and being honest. And the Knight of Cups is ultra vulnerability and emotional availability. So there is a final message there of you being authentic about what you really want and need when it comes to relationships. So take that with you to think about in April. I hope you have a beautiful April, though. I'm really loving the energies you have here. They're very magical, very loving, very warm, very open-minded, so I'm excited to see where it takes you, Librans. Of course, you can find me on Patreon. We'll be doing all the extra chats and conversations and discussions over there, so I'd love to see you. It's a really cozy, great community. I love it over there. You can also find me on my Instagram and my website, so I'll leave all of my links in the description box. I'm trying to post a lot more regularly on Instagram. It's been a really weird year for like social media, I think, so trying to come back to a place of enjoyment and play with it. You can also find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. I'll leave her link below as well. I love you all so much. I would love it if you liked and subscribed and stuck around and joined this little family over here. Have a beautiful April and talk to you soon.